You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk, a movie podcast where we give pumps and dumps.
Hello and welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I'm your hunk.
Oh.
I'm Doge, and you've never had a chunk like me.
Oh, easy.
And I'm Carter. And oi, 10,000 years will give you such a chunk in the neck.
That's pretty good, Robert
That wasn't
Williams.
a bad Robert Williams.
Guys, I'm taking all these first shots the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, Samuel L. Look at all these things I get to add to my repertoire.
Look at all these voices you're so good
I
at.
put your Robin Williams pretty far ahead of your
I know.
Samuel L. But
Behind, of my
Hey.
peach tea maker.
yeah.
Hey, Hunk.
Why are you the hunk? Why
Enough
are
about
you?
me.
I don't honestly know. Maybe you guys need to tell me. Apparently, I slept through the storm of the century.
Dude, yes, you
Yeah,
absolutely
that's crazy
did.
to me.
It's been the topic of almost all people I've seen.
70 mile an hour winds, gusts of 100. That is 3 digits of miles.
Sometimes even hail. Like, this was a crazy,
So
Did you
I'm not
not
even
see?
finding out that this storm happened until about
What?
10 minutes ago. I didn't even know it existed. I could have lived the rest of my life and not known that it was a thing.
Did you not like drive to work and be like, man, that tree wasn't over
Look at all
there?
this stuff that's messed up now.
No, I guess
That's
not.
bonkers,
You
man.
millennials are all the same. You're focused,
buried in your
you're
Twitters
focused on
and
your
your Fortnite.
hashtags, and you won't even notice when the sky's falling
No.
down.
Yeah, I guess I slept straight through, and so did Callie. So if you're looking to murder a couple people that'll sleep through a home invasion,
Easy
come on
target.
this way. So yeah, I guess that makes me the hunk.
Yeah, dude. Congrats. You got some good sleep when
Pretty
most
hunky,
of
yeah.
the
I
Metroplex
need-
didn't.
I need more beauty rest than the average bear, and
Yeah.
Which is a lot for the average bear.
a lot of beauty rest.
Like
yeah.
an entire season, I
yeah,
think.
it's big time.
If my Nat Geo knowledge is correct.
So we're going to have to knock out 20 podcasts next week because Jordan's going to be
just
asleep.
going to be asleep until
Yeah,
August.
I sleep from about April 3rd until about July 27th.
Amazing.
Okay, if you could, that's a great icebreaker question because we'd need an icebreaker because we don't know each other that well.
Right.
If you could, biologically, would you choose to hibernate? If you wake up and feel amazing
Yeah, I would sleep through mid-May through the end of August,
the whole summer,
the entire hot part.
I wouldn't do it. I think I'd be too afraid to miss out.
I think I
Talk
would
about
too.
FOMO.
Yeah, for real.
I can't do it. I've got enough FOMO that I couldn't sleep for that long.
I'd catch up on all of it when I woke back up.
Yeah.
I would just
Like
call,
you did this storm?
I would, yeah, I
Just a binge.
I would just call my friends and be like, "What are the highlights? What did I miss?"
Right.
It'd be like, "Well,
You're just red boxing like crazy.
yeah,
As if people still do that. People do that.
yeah." Redbox was a deep pull, right?
Sorry.
What is this? 2017.
Wow.
For all you
2
kids
years.
listening, Redbox used to be a big vending machine. So vending machines were this thing before Favor where you could get the treats you want when you want.
Carter's 30.
We're living in a post-Blockbuster, post-Redbox world, friends.
Yep. 100.
It's pretty crazy.
It's a whole new world, isn't it?
But you know what?
Hey, isn't this a movie podcast?
You know what I'd like to do, though? Well, Blockbuster and Redbox.
Okay,
Doge.
fair.
But you know what I'd like to do?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'd like to harken back to a day when Blockbuster still reigned supreme and
Yes.
Redbox was but a glint in the eye of the father.
When tea
Yes.
was still sweet, watermelon was still wet, and
The United States of America was still a country. One that I'd like to live in. That's right. We're taking you all the way back to the 1990s.
Yes.
You know the ones. You've heard of it. And we're talking about a movie put on by the Emperor Mouse himself. Nicholas Mouse.
Is that a sentence that you started with any inkling of how it would end?
Nope.
yeah, I could hardly tell.
I'm a good improver. That's right. Hey, improverbs.
Ooh.
And it's like sayings.
It's like a rule book. It's like sayings that get you into a scene.
I love it.
Improverbs.
Improverbs.
The improverbs.
Wow.
Very nice.
Very good. The movie we're talking about this week on this one, it's called Aladdin. And Doge, since nobody's ever seen this movie,
Yeah,
it's sort
tell
of like
them
an
about it.
underground sleeper hit, what I'm going to need you to do, snatch me up a real quick synopsis, scatter it on the wind. I'm in rare form today, guys.
Such rare form.
Gracious.
Aladdin tells the story of a street urchin living on the streets of Agrabah who one day happens to meet the Princess Jasmine,
Ooh.
falls madly in love, acquires a genie for his very own, and uses the genie to convince Jasmine that he is a person worth marrying. And that's pretty much it. That's Aladdin. Everyone on the planet has seen this movie.
And I've just got to say, I'm sitting in this right now knowing that we're about to do 5 more Disney classics, just as good or better than this one, which is saying a lot.
Yeah.
And I am so excited.
To be clear, I mean, we asked you guys to pick 6 movies, and this is the 6th place movie. So this is, by crowdsourced opinion, the worst one that we're going to watch.
Right.
Or the 6th least favorite one that we're going to watch.
Right.
And this one's so much fun.
I really like this movie a lot, but I would agree this is my least favorite of the 6.
Yeah. I think so too.
And that's saying something because I really love this movie.
Yeah.
And so like we've got a good
It's a
6
really
weeks ahead
solid
of us.
list. Yeah.
Can't wait. We know and you don't, but you will.
Yeah.
You will.
In time.
I will say, before we move on, not to spoil what movies are in the list, I've never been more mad at a group of people in my entire life. You let me down, and I hate you.
It was really close.
I don't want to talk
close,
about
man.
it more than what I said. I want to say the thing I said, and I want us to be done.
It was close, man.
Okay. I'm just like looking straight at the wall in front of me like, yes, sir.
Sorry. It's fine.
I'm the hunk, and what I say goes.
Street rat, he got a loaf of bread running from bad people.
Oh, man. Yeah, let's jump right in. So we open up on our young boy.
We got a little
Open up first with The Peddler.
That's true.
Which is
Also
one
Robin
of my
Williams.
favorite openings.
yes.
It's so good because they just put Robin Williams in front of a live mic and
they
said,
said, "Get
Robin
after
Williams, do that Robin Williams thing that we love.
Yeah.
And did you know the setup with that? They had come out and it was this table that was just full of random trinkets and there was a cover over it and they just had him reach in blind and whatever he pulled out, he was just going to ad-lib what it was.
Shut
and that was
up.
take
Goodness
one
gracious.
and only.
Are
was
you
what we,
kidding me?
The
Wow.
only time he ever did it. They had to edit some things because there was some very Robin Williams inappropriate for Disney movie things he
Yeah,
said.
Sure, naturally.
But this was it. And how fun do you think they had to just be like, do what you want.
Gosh.
the most.
Just go for it.
I really think I get the sense that this movie was entirely built around we want Robin Williams so badly.
Yep.
I thought they just wanted Steve from Full House desperately. I thought this was all
He's back.
a vehicle for Steve.
I would be remiss while we're talking about Full House to not point out that one of our featured actresses,
Oh,
Lori
man.
Loughlin,
Lori.
recently made the move from Full House to the Big House.
Nice.
She is a confirmed trash can, a bad person, and Hallmark is not associating with her anymore, and neither are we.
We're
If
done.
there was, I'll tell you what though, if there was any actor or actress that we've talked about through all of the history of Two Chunks that we thought would get in some real heavy heat, some big
gonna be Aunt
legal
Becky,
trouble,
yeah.
some national organization trouble, it would have been her.
Absolutely, Aunt Becky.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
her big problem, I've always said this about her, by the way. It's not even the whole like college admissions thing. It's just she
You
doesn't
got something deeper.
it goes way deeper. She just like doesn't get Christmas.
That's the thing. I
She
think
doesn't, dude.
somebody in jail must have taught her what Christmas actually means,
Yeah.
and that's why she's out on bond right now.
Yeah, that must be it. And it's definitely not because she's just rich. Aunt Becky more like Aunt Yucky.
Anyway.
Sorry, I had to toss that last one in there.
Aladdin.
So after we get the peddler, is that what we want to call him at
Sure,
the beginning? He's,
yeah.
he's peddling his wares.
Yeah.
We jump on in, and I sort of like the framing device of this is all sort of a story that the peddler is telling us.
Yeah.
And I've seen the other Aladdins, and that never comes back.
Well, this is the only one that acknowledges that this is a tale, like one of the tales from the Arabian Nights.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is a story within a story. And
Right.
it always has been.
Right. But after we get the peddler, we jump in media res to our young hero stealing on the streets.
Stealing on the streets. And something that we see pretty early in this one that's revealed is something that's a theme in a lot of these Disney classic movies is that we have a protagonist that we either never see their parents or we only see one. And not only
Yeah.
do we not see them, there's allusions to orphan, like a one-parent home. I mean, you look at Jasmine even.
Yeah.
Where's the sultess or whatever you call,
Yeah.
like what's the opposite of a sultan? Or not an opposite, but like the...
The equal.
The Sandlot taught me that it's the Colossus of Clout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
fair
That's
enough.
it. That's definitely it.
Sultan of Swing, Colossus of Clout.
But yeah, he's just out living on his own. And guys, with everything that's going on in this movie, in terms of like, I need to do a ranking someday of sidekicks Abu is excellent.
I
Abu
love
rules.
Abu.
I really focused on Abu almost all the time that he was on screen.
He's so
and
much
he's
fun.
so funny.
Yeah.
Same guy voiced the Cave of Wonders.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was
The
it
big
Pete
tiger?
Welker?
I don't know.
Because Pete Welker did the tiger movies as well. Or the tiger noises as well.
Then yeah, it
For
was.
Raja. Yeah.
Then yeah, it was.
Pete Welker. Yep.
So
He does
fun.
a lot of those animal
And
noises for Disney.
That's okay. So Chelsea and I were kind of breaking it down. And let's see. I think when we started, oh, wow, I'm saying Taylor Lautner on another episode. When we started like trying to
Wow.
check certain boxes for Taylor Lautner,
Yeah.
there's a lot that boxes you can check for both the protagonist and antagonist in these classic movies.
Yeah.
It seems like the protagonist always has a sidekick and then an extra sidekick that is a form of transportation. So there's like going to be a funny horse or carpet in this
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you're just major sidekick. It's never just one.
Look at Tangled with like Pascal the chameleon
Yes.
and the funny horse.
Yes.
Yep.
And even if you look like Mulan, it's not just Mushu, it's also that cricket. What's the cricket's name?
Cricky?
No,
No.
it's not Cricky.
It's definitely
What is
not
the
cricket.
cricket's name?
I don't remember. I do remember that he almost gets eaten in porridge, and I don't like that.
Pocahontas has the raccoon and the hummingbird. Like, so it's always, but again, one of these is not a form of transport. But
Unless
Hey,
it's
guys,
a strong hummingbird.
The cricket's name is Cricky.
okay, great. That's fine.
CRI-KEE.
Is
you got it.
really?
Come at me.
I don't think they ever say it.
with your
Then.
cricket trivia again.
Come at me with your cricket trivia.
Crickia.
But Abu is great.
Abu
Yeah.
is great. And while we're talking about voices, I'm 90% sure that the leader of the Sultan's Guard is Pete.
It is.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh, yeah. Even kind of looks like him.
A little bit.
That's funny.
Disney
That
kind
gap.
of has that one big intimidating guy that they draw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and
Like,
they do John Ratzenberger all the time for Pixar stuff.
yeah, the one big intimidating guy is always voiced by Pete, always has a big double chin and is missing a tooth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that
That's funny.
character is in a lot of Disney movies.
I love it. And like, it's so fun too with all the detail. Like, Pixar isn't the first time that Disney started doing Easter eggs.
Right.
Oh, no way.
Disney has been an Easter egg producer for a long time.
Right.
There's even a frame later of Raja when he is turning from like a little kitten to full grown form again, to where on one frame it's literally just Mickey's face.
Yep.
Really?
They
Did y'all
do stuff
catch
like that all
the
the
hidden
time.
Mickey in the market as well.
No, I didn't
There's
see it.
3 little paper globes that make a Mickey. So I think that's something that would be fun to do in the series is if we do a hidden Mickey watch.
Yeah, we can do
reveal
that
the hidden Mickeys.
for
Yeah.
sure. Absolutely. And so he's running through. He is. Aladdin was doing parkour before parkour was a thing.
Yeah.
Can we agree?
He's real parkour.
Real parkour. We never learned why Jasmine's so good at it too, but she is. They barely touch on that at one point.
She's just like, she's got the skills.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
You know what I mean? Jasmine brings the skills.
I would guess, and we don't have to talk about every single song for all of these movies because there's a lot, and there's going to be some that we miss. But I guess the
We're going to
first
talk
one,
about most songs.
yeah,
let me be
the
very
first
clear.
one for this
and we
would
will
be,
take breaks to sing the entire song.
Yeah,
Just so you're
absolutely.
clear.
I think it's important now, even that we say, and we'll probably say this more, but like all 3 of us are musicians. And so like the songs are going to stand out to us in big ways.
Yeah, big time.
And I would imagine they stand out to everybody because that's one of the things that Disney does so well and has for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, did you know Aladdin was nominated for 5 Oscars?
No, I didn't.
Wow.
It won 2 for Best Original Song, which they actually had 2, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, but they had 2 songs that were nominated for Best Original Song in the same category. And then it won for soundtrack.
Was
Yeah.
it?
For the score.
Was it A Whole New World and Friend Like Me?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yep. It was those 2 and A Whole New World won,
Okay.
which is top 3 most iconic Disney songs. Would
Easily.
you not say?
Easily.
Yeah.
Huge.
I think A Friend Like Me is better.
It is.
Right.
but
But
anyway,
it's not.
anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, this is great.
Yeah. So basically, in the streets of Agrabah, we sort of get a sense for what Aladdin's capable of and kind of who he is as a person. One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is when he finally gets the bread and he sits down to eat it and he sees that 2 young kids
Yep.
are hungry.
So good.
And
Yeah.
so he decides, okay, they deserve this more than me. Now, I do have a question. Is the animation of these 2 kids, is it the same as Pain and whatever in Hercules?
Yeah, I think it's the same kids that Pain and Panic turn into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
In Hercules.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had never noticed that. I
I'm
want to go back
pretty
and watch
sure
it.
it is. I want to double check.
No,
but
it totally
there's
makes
all kinds
sense.
of stuff, and I was
Because one of
like,
them's real slender and the other one's a little pudge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little pudgy.
There's
Little
all
pudgy.
kinds of little stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
later on when the Sultan's stacking his toys, did you guys see the toy that's Beast from Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah. Yeah. There's something
Yep.
else that happens when he's trying to transform, when Genie transforms Abu into an elephant, he transforms into something from another Disney movie first. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember us being like, "Oh, that's
I don't remember what it was.
yeah, okay."
But it was like very obvious when it first happened.
Anyway, I do want to take a minute to pump on Aladdin giving that bread and the
It's
boogie
so
bread.
good.
Do you guys think that's a setup for, because I'm trying to determine what is Aladdin's, kind of what's his core character trait,
Right.
right? Do you guys think it's a setup of like Aladdin is compassionate and wants to take care of the people who can't take care of themselves? And that's paid off ultimately in the form of his last wish with Genie?
Yes.
Right.
I think that Aladdin's main character trait in this movie is, whether you want to call it compassionate or generous or man of the people, I think that he is selfless. That's what I would put it as, is
Yeah.
ultimately selfless after taking a sort of selfish winding road to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
yeah, and
so-
none of the selfishness, like the moment he becomes selfish, everything falls apart.
Right. Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
It makes for a spectacle,
Yeah.
but it's
That's something I'd love to
working
talk
against
about
him.
with these Disney movies. I don't want to reduce them to like moralism or anything like they're not like moral tales. They're not
Yeah.
like lesson stories. But
But aren't they though?
I think there's
You
an
know?
element of like, I've watched this movie so many times that I just things happen and they go in kind of in one eye and out the other. And I'm
Right.
not taking the time to say, okay, what is this narratively? What's the purpose of this? So I'd love
Yeah.
to kind of actually look into that kind of stuff through this series.
yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think we should definitely do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So
So we meet sort of the Sultan and Jafar and Iago the parrot and Jasmine, sort of their whole crew.
yeah, and do we meet Jafar and Iago outside of the temple?
The first time we ever meet them is when they're trying to
Gazine is
open
going
up.
into,
Yeah.
and then he did.
Yeah, he did.
So
Yep.
The Cave of Wonders is one of the loudest things that exists.
it's so loud.
It's like infinitely louder than the rest of the
Y'all
movie.
talk to me a little bit about this thing that Disney was doing in the 90s where they would have moments of 3D, like
Yeah.
three-dimensional animation. We
Most-
get that.
So Disney was doing that. DreamWorks was doing that. There's
Okay.
in particular, a very lengthy sequence in Prince of Egypt of like that kind of CG animation when he's watching the hieroglyphics and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, Hercules, I always think of the Hydra.
Yeah.
The Hydra is basically,
I always think of Tarzan
CG.
surfing on vines.
yeah.
So in Beauty and the Beast, it's the Great Hall that they're dancing in.
Right.
It's three-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think so basically the way that the animation would work is that they would have, in the old days, like for Robin Hood and those kinds of like that era of Disney movies, even up to like The Fox and the Hound and stuff like that, they would have like a matte painter come in and paint these gorgeous backgrounds.
Yeah.
And they would lay the transparent animation cells on top of that. So the background wouldn't change. And that's why, like, if you're watching Oliver and Company, when they're dancing through the street in Why Should I Worry, which I'm bummed that we weren't able to
Such a
include that.
good
But
song.
when they're dancing through the street in Why Should I Worry, that's why New York City is like painted and gorgeous and fully rendered. And then Dodgers, like a two-dimensional animation that's moving through this scene. What CG did is it allowed them to paint full environments in that style and move the camera around in a way that's more similar to live action. But I think, at least for me, it didn't work in this one. Like the trade-off was way too noticeable in this one.
I think it was for me too. And I remember, I don't know if I was impressed as a kid, but I even noticed it like when I
Yeah.
first saw it. And I think I might have been 5 or 6.
I think it made me scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the like difference in animation was like unsettling.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Cave of Wonders. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That was intimidating to me too.
Yeah.
And I love how that massive tiger has a earring.
Yeah.
it's cool.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's great.
It's pretty cool.
It kind of characterizes the cave a little bit, which I think is very fun.
Right.
But we get sort of Aladdin's first interaction with Jasmine down in the square when she decides, I don't want to marry any of these dudes. I'm out. I'm going to bounce. And she throws on sort of a wrapping so nobody can see who she is and goes out into the market and gets caught stealing an apple for a young kid. So right away we see that her and Aladdin share the same heart for people that are hungry, hurting, whatever.
I'd like to track that throughout the series. Do our two leads, because most of these movies have a romantic component,
Sure.
Yeah.
do they have the same core want? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah,
I think
well,
same
they-
or complementary are the
Yeah.
ideal situations.
Yeah.
here.
And I would say a lot of it's similar because they do have the moment where they say the same thing when they
Yeah.
go to his house or wherever
Yeah.
he's living, essentially. Another thing that I'd love to talk about, and I don't think we're filling up too many boxes to check as we talk about all the movies, but so Jasmine is a Disney princess.
Right.
And so I think there's some good things that she stood up for in terms of saying, like, I'm not going to let anybody force me to do this. So we see as a princess, it's like, this is going to happen because I say it's going to happen, and she wants
Right.
to be independent. And She
Right.
doesn't want this kind of thing. So those are some of the good moral qualities, I think, for her. But I think outside of that, is she one of the more shallow princesses to you?
I like that she shows compassion.
Yeah.
I like that she values truth.
So maybe she's not, but she is also a princess with maybe the least amount of screen time of all the princesses.
She is the least, like, I tend to not see a lot of people that are like the Disney princess obsessed type people. Like, I don't see a lot of huge diehard Jasmine fans.
Yeah.
If my mom were here, she would tell me that it's because she shows her belly.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
that's
That's
true.
appropriate.
A lot of the Disney princesses are the protagonist.
Yeah.
I don't think Jasmine is.
No, she's not.
No way.
So she's just Aladdin's love interest.
No, you're right. But I do love, I mean, they make a big deal about, I am not a prize to be won.
Yeah, I think she
am
does
not-
demonstrate more agency than other princesses who are damseled and put in that love interest spot.
I think you could make an argument that Jasmine is a more role model worthy princess than like a Cinderella.
Oh, yeah.
Everything Cinderella is a passenger in her own movie,
That's great.
in her own
Yeah.
story, and everything she does is to get that prince.
Yep.
That's true. Dang.
Whereas
that's good.
Jasmine's like, I'm okay alone if you're going to be like this. See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Au revoir. And Jasmine does play a big part in, she shows some wit
Yeah.
towards the end and kind
Yeah.
of takes things into control and can fend for herself.
Yeah.
I think that too is to show like, hey, I can do this. That whole mentality, like when she pole vaults across the
Yeah.
tops
Yeah.
of
I'm
the
a fast learner.
buildings
Yeah.
and things like that. So fun fact, 2 of them on Jasmine. One, her character design was partially after Jennifer Connelly. Did you know that?
What?
Really?
Yeah.
I can
Really?
absolutely see that.
Jennifer Connelly was one of the influences there.
Interesting.
And then also with the apple. The apple was kind of a recurring thing. They throw an apple back and forth to each other. Aladdin does it often in the movie.
Yeah.
He even does it when they're flying on the carpet over Greece.
Yep.
And so the throwing of an apple to someone that you're courting is a symbol of like asking for engagement in Greek times. And so they were like,
Interesting.
so that's all the kind of stuff that Disney doesn't do by accident.
In high school, we used to eat apples down to the core and then throw them as hard as we could at our friends because they explode when they hit you on a
Amazing.
flat part of your body. And so I
Amazing.
proposed to a lot of people in high school.
I once watched a person, and this is within the last 6 months, watched a person eat an apple down to a core. And I told him it would be such a power move if you ate the whole thing.
And then he did.
Ate the entire
eat the whole
thing, ate
thing.
the entire core, every seed, everything.
So much power.
He's my dad now. Like,
Yeah.
legally.
Yeah.
You can now be my father. Thank you. Wow. That's
Right?
awesome.
It kind of blows your mind. That's a power move.
There
That's
was no
such a power
hesitation
move.
either. I mean, it was just here we go, chomp chomp, the end. It was incredible.
Oh.
So after we sort of get to know Jasmine and Aladdin as a couple, sort of stir things around in the pot a little
Stir it
bit.
up.
Jafar's like, nah, no chance. This is my dude. This is my diamond in the rough. He's going to be the one who opens the cave. I'm going to take him.
Uh-huh.
Kidnaps, fakes his death, takes him to the Cave of Wonders.
Uh-huh.
Here's where things get interesting.
35 minutes in,
Yeah.
we are introduced to the most iconic animated character of all time. I mean,
I think that's probably fair.
One of them.
there's so much trivia on the fact that he changed the game.
Yeah. So in the bottom of the Cave of Wonders, we finally get the lamp. We
Yep.
rub the lamp after Jafar leaves Aladdin to die.
Yep.
And
And-
tells Jasmine that Aladdin's dead. That's
Right.
an important part.
And
yeah.
out of the lamp comes, and I'm going to say this now, so I'm the first one, my super pump for this movie, Robin Williams as the genie.
My super pump for this movie is Robin Williams as the genie.
So mine's a little different, and we can get to that in a little bit.
Cool.
But it's totally around the exact same thing.
Yeah. I love every moment the genie is on the screen in this movie.
Friend Like Me, the song was not even really on my list of top 5 Disney songs until I rewatched this as an adult
Mm-hmm.
and was able to catch everything that they squeezed into that song.
Yes.
Like the writing, the performance, everything about that song is completely next level.
It's just bonkers.
It's
And I would
amazing.
argue
in the best way.
I would argue that the genie elevates this movie into a completely different space than it would have been.
And he
Even had
does.
somebody else been cast in that role, even
Yes.
if the writing was the exact same and somebody else was cast.
Yeah.
I really think Robin Williams, in much the same way that Viggo and Mahershala put Green Book on their shoulders, Robin Williams was like, Aladdin, perfect. Put that movie in my backpack. I'm going to carry it right now.
And the rumor was that he was doing some of this voice acting in between the filming of, I think, Hook and Toys, which was going to come
Oh,
out. Did y'all
man.
read any of the story on that stuff?
No.
So Robin Williams got the minimum pay for this.
Oh, okay.
He got the
Wow.
minimum amount you could possibly. He got paid like $75,000 to make this movie, and it's because he said he didn't want this. He asked Disney, "Please don't let this do," because he had all his eggs in the Toys basket. which was this. If you haven't heard of it, that's part of the twist. So he had all his eggs in this basket. He didn't want two movies fighting against themselves and them hurting the money making for either of them. And so he said, here's the deal. You have to do a few things for me. Of course, I'll do this for you. And I'll tell you a little bit why he's convinced, because that's part of my super pump. But he says, I'll do this for you. But I want to be a minimal part of it, which honestly he is. Genie's really only on screen for like 25 minutes of a 90-minute movie. He said, I don't want you to use my voice for toys or anything like that, which they don't. And he said one of the big things was, for the movie poster, just make Genie, this was a specific request, just make him just 25%. I only want to be a quarter of the poster. Like, I don't want to be that big deal of a poster. So they do, but if you look at the old poster, he fills up the entire 25% of the poster.
Yeah.
Genie is the biggest thing at the top of all of this, like Vader in the background of A New Hope.
Yeah.
And all this stuff happens. They're breaking all the rules. So Disney and Robin Williams has a really bad relationship with them. When he ends up getting an award that an Academy made up for Genie, like how you would do for Andy Serkis's Smeagol, he never thanks Disney. Yep. Because he's so burned by it. He says, this is what I asked of you, and you've completely milked this and lied to me. And so he didn't get back into the relationship with Disney until like 2 or 3 sequels to Aladdin later, and he comes back.
Yeah. There still is in the effect that they can't use his voice in like theme park rides and stuff. They can't use his voice for any sequels. And the rumor is that's why Disney's so adamant about developing a live action Aladdin, because they want to be able to use Will Smith as Genie and stuff like that now.
And that's such a big deal. And so,
I don't think Robin Williams came back until King of Thieves.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah. And it was such a perfect storm. And so my super pump is actually, I'm not going to keep saying his first name because I don't think I'm totally right, but I'll say it one time, Michael Goldberg. But Goldberg is the specific animator of the Genie. The work that he did, and again, this is 98% Robin Williams, but so he goes and pitches to Robin Williams because he's their number one choice. So he says, let me show you about this, because Robin was kind of unsure at first. So he goes and animates the Genie into a stand-up routine that Robin Williams did a couple years before.
Wow.
It says, look at what we can do.
Wow.
And they said like Robin just signed immediately. He's like, absolutely. But for him, for this animation, so Robin Williams ad-libbed so much that this would have been nominated for 6 Oscars, the 6th being Best Adapted Screenplay. But it got it went so off script that they were like, this doesn't even count as an adapted screenplay. He had over 16 hours of vocal recording.
Yep.
Imagine Robin Williams, right? Yeah. With that much time in the studio.
Holy moly.
So there's all this stuff they didn't use. And so he does all of this, and almost all of it's improvisational. That's why you can't be an adapted screenplay, completely off the book. And then this guy gets to come in behind and try and animate. And no one would have even assumed that you could put some kind of structure to the character of Robin Williams.
How do you physically depict
his
brand of comedy?
Yeah.
It's perfect. The way he has him turn into people.
Yeah, actually morph.
From like Schwarzenegger to Ed Sullivan, and then he's all over the place. And then they have all these like fireworks and all that stuff to animate that.
The Jack Nicholson was,
oh my gosh,
nuts.
So good.
So to animate that's why that guy specifically, Goldberg, is my super pump, because he is really what put it above and beyond in terms of animation. Yeah. Like that was unreal. And this was before there was like motion capture.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Robin Williams wasn't wearing all the little white balls on his face. Like,
and he was in a booth. This wasn't even rotoscoped. So like Snow White was rotoscoped, which basically means they filmed a woman dancing in the woods and then traced over her outline and added forest animals and stuff like that. But this was none of that. Like this was not rotoscope. This wasn't mocap, nothing. Yeah.
Nope. And so I just thought that was brilliant work that just completely made the movie.
Yeah.
So
I think I agree. That's awesome.
Huge.
It's really cool. Wow. All 3 super pumps. Kind of makes me tired. Makes me feel like maybe I need to take a quick break.
So super.
It is supposed to storm soon, so.
Hey, I'm a little sleepy. Maybe we could jump on into the time for shout announcements. You know, the part of the show where we shout stuff out and give announcements.
Yeah, I'm down.
Good plan to me.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Let's do that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome to Shout Announcements, the part of the show where we give shout outs and make announcements. I'm Jordan. Here we go.
Whoa.
Doing like a fun morning AM radio.
Dude, fun is not the first thing I
radio
heard.
for sure. You ready for that?
Yeah.
Do it again.
Hey, you're listening to Shout Announcements, the part of the show where we give shout outs and make announcements. I'm Jordan. Let's go. This game sucks. Thank you First shout out we're going to give today. Shout out's going to go to Wax Space and Tyler Station. Thank you so much, Wax Space and Tyler Station. We're in ya right now. You drink your coffee. We record here. If you're in Dallas and you need to work, this is your place.
And I'm Doge. Thank you, studio audience. I'm going to give a big shout out to everybody who voted in our Disney poll. This is a crowdsourced series, and we're very, very excited about it.
Thank you guys so much. Now, studio audience, please boo Doge because I wasn't done.
Oh.
The next shout out that I'm going to give.
This is amazing.
The next shout out that I'm going to give is going to be a big one. It's going to Podbean. My time is almost up. This is like a fun improv game we're doing. It's going to go to Podbean. We put stuff on you, mostly our podcast, by paying you money. Thank you, Podbean. Yeah.
Completely our podcast.
Studio audience loves that Podbean.
And everybody, it's me. It's Carter. It's
Harry
me.
Carey.
I'm back, and I love... Look out, it's me. It's Carter. I just want to ask you guys again, please don't forget, rate, review, subscribe. That's right.
They're going wild for it in the back there, Carter.
They're going wild way back there, and there are thousands of audience members. Gosh,
that was
man.
sort of a mid-level joke.
But please, seriously, as I'm still in this voice, don't forget to rate and review this podcast because we want to be famous.
It's hard to convey sincerity in this style of voice, but we need this so bad.
So bad.
Oh no, everybody unsubscribed and deleted this episode.
That was amazing.
We do have one last piece of news. We just got it right before we started
We
this
sure
section.
did, yeah.
Doge, you want to
Dropped
enlighten us?
hot. Breaking news.
James Gunn,
Yes, sir.
Jimothy Gunn.
Jimothy Gunson, has been reinstated as director of Guardians 3. This would have gone in yesterday's Mini Monday episode, but we literally just found out about this right now.
Are
Like
in
2.5 minutes ago.
Very
from this moment.
exciting.
Super excited.
This is coming hot off the tail of a conversation I literally just had where I told somebody that Guardians 3 was probably not going to happen, and now James Gunn's back.
Yeah, honestly, that's a big move for Disney.
Yeah, that's
To
huge.
kind of, I don't know if I'd call it going back on their word or something, but it's definitely, there had to be a lot of influence with those cast members, especially like Bautista, who was saying, I'm not going to do it
Yeah.
if he's not here. And while what happened to James Gunn or the content he put out there a long time ago was obscene, it was still something at the time. He was like a shock comic, and it was just, anyways.
And he did sort of apologize for that,
right,
too.
and he's cleaned up after that. So
Yeah.
amazing, crazy. So big news.
And now back to the show.
Yeah. So very appropriately for you to be using this applause, or for our live studio audience to be applauding us right now.
Hey, give me a cue when you want me to cut it. This one's so long.
Go ahead and cut it.
That was
The
a good
great
job.
thing
We
about
killed
that,
our entire audience. They're dead now. They stopped clapping immediately.
another fun trivia bit is when they were doing pre-screenings of Aladdin,
Preenings.
the audience was not clapping after the musical numbers. And that's something they really wanted. So they thought, let's just throw an applause sign over Genie.
That is so funny.
And they kept it.
I love that applause sign. That's so funny.
Right? That's something that really stood out to me. Chelsea and I were talking about a few things. Like, for some reason, the bread at the beginning really stood out to me as a kid. Like, just the animation of that. I don't know why.
delicious.
The watermelons, when that guy's selling watermelons and they're diving into those.
Any Disney food automatically looks like the best food.
Because their mouths are so full when they're taking a bite.
Yeah, it's always a bite, and it's just like...
Yes.
I specifically remember the cheese in a Goofy movie. When
Oh,
they're
yeah.
in the
The
hotel
Whiz.
room. The
We'll
cheese
never know,
whiz
will we?
And the cheese on the pizza. Like, just Disney food looks good. So when we come to the end of the series, I want us to rank the Disney food that is eaten in these movies.
Yep.
I like that.
Do we talk? I guess we do. It's a podcast. Do we want to talk about the few rules that Genie has that you just can't wish for?
Sure. First one, easy, no problem. No wishing for more wishes.
Can't wish for more wishes. You can't make somebody wish for somebody to fall in love with you, which plays a big part later. And you can't kill anybody.
And you can't bring anybody back from the dead.
And you can't bring anybody back from the dead. So that plays into Aladdin's... I kind of tricks him. He's a little tricksy. He tricks the genie to get them out of the
Get
Cave
that first
of Wonders.
wish. Love that. It's real good.
But then we go to this like oasis island, which has a really fun scene. And the legitimate First Wish comes out.
Yep.
Which makes for another great song.
Yes.
Do we want to talk about this First Wish first?
Genie,
Like-
make me a prince?
Yeah, make me a prince. And just what happens. I guess we kind of referenced it a little bit. Abu turns into, man, I wish we could remember. It looks exactly
I'll
like.
look it up. I'll see what I can see.
Okay, that's fine. But Prince Ali,
Ali Ababwa.
he about to come.
Yep.
About to figure this out.
Marches on in
Mm-hmm.
with his elephant and his entourage.
75 Golden Camels.
Stomps his way through Agrabah.
That's another really fun song.
It's a great one. It's a really great song. And I'm gonna dump on Jasmine's facial recognition abilities. Didn't really
Yeah.
didn't really hide a lot,
No, he's basically looks the same that he did before.
just with a hat.
Unless, I mean, how do we pull off a mask for Prince Ali? Maybe we could have. I don't know. You could have made him look different.
Yeah.
Actually, that could have been pretty cool.
Yeah, like a human Shrek. in
Yeah.
Shrek.
Hey, I'm trying to figure out that Abu transformation. And so I Googled Abu transforms and I'm watching it now. Abu first becomes, nope, just right into an elephant, it looks like. And the video I found is called Male Shapeshift 72. So I'm terrified what YouTube is going to begin suggesting me.
Yeah, you might have a weird future ahead of you, my man.
man. Whoops. Was Jafar's master plan before Prince Abubu or after?
Well, so first of all, one thing I want to make very clear is like so close and yet so Jafar. And the reason I say that is because I think a little of this, a little of that. I think he had an idea beforehand of what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I think it sort of solidified when Iago gave him the nudge that he needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And speaking of that nudge,
Yeah.
well, first of all, Jafar was almost Patrick Stewart, and that's a dump for me that it didn't happen.
Yeah. That
Patrick
would've been
Stewart
nice.
says that's like his biggest regret in movies was that he did not jump on voicing Jafar. He was doing Star Trek
Yeah, that
things,
would've
which
been
I
a bummer.
guess were pretty iconic
Whatever.
in their own way.
Whatever, Pat.
And I'm gonna credit this to my wife, and it's when Iago, appropriately all the time on Jafar's shoulder, is really kind of pulling the strings and coming up with these ideas himself. And so, guys, is Iago the number one antagonist in this film? Is he the main antagonist?
I think we are proven at the end of this movie that Jafar is easily swayed.
I think Iago, it's like a Pinky in the Brain situation.
Yes, I was just thinking of that
No.
too. Try to take over the world.
Yeah. I think Iago's the main guy.
Yeah. Or almost like a worm tongue
Yeah.
Or
to Theoden.
That is such a spicy take.
maybe like Krang from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I was like,
And Jafar is the big Krang body.
Ooh, maybe
Yeah.
he is. Or like Master Blaster from Beyond Thunderdome. Mad
Maybe.
Max.
Could
Yeah.
be.
He's the master. Iago's the master.
Jafar's the blaster.
He's the blaster. And so that is why, if you were to look at the villain diagram, I have not considered Jafar brilliant, though he is brutal and willing. And he killed Gazim and has referenced killing others.
So then
Wants to kill Aladdin.
I would maybe put Iago in
Dude,
as
we
the
should.
brilliant.
Iago
Villain.
is the sender.
And then I would say that by their powers combined, instead of Captain Planet, they are one whole terrifying villain.
Yeah. So would you say Iago? Because I put Jafar as broad too.
Yeah.
I think we decided Jafar was broad because he pretty much
still think
holds
that.
the cosmos in his hands
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah.
Would Iago be broad and brilliant and just not brutal? Because he really hasn't done
I think I would put Iago at
simply brilliant.
Yeah, I would.
brilliant. Yeah.
Maybe we'll start adding some of these side pieces because you have Shere Khan, but then you also have Ka,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who kind of plays a big role too.
Listeners, let us know what you think too.
Yeah.
Tweet at us, email us.
Very interesting.
Yeah, is Iago played by Gilbert Gottfried actually the true villain inside of Aladdin?
It's Gilbert himself. What's eating Gilbert? Is that the true villain?
Ooh.
Leo, it all comes back.
Which also great casting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't
really
said that
good.
yet. That's
really
perfect.
good. He just naturally sounds like a parrot.
Yes.
I sort of feel like Gilbert Gottfried, you could be like, so we've got this movie. I'm in.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't let us finish. No, I'm in. I'm there. I'll do
Yeah,
it.
I'll do
All
it.
right,
Do I
fine.
get to play a bird?
Yes, I do.
Please let me play a bird.
Did you notice that anytime Prince Ali lies, his feather falls into his face?
No.
No.
Very interesting. I don't know what that means, or if it's a Disney thing.
Is it a Pinocchio illusion? Because we do get a very
That's what I was
overt
thinking of on that
Pinocchio
island
illusion.
too. Very overt
Yeah.
Pinocchio illusion.
We do get that.
I don't know.
Interesting. Maybe it's the feather of truth.
It makes for a lot of beautiful fanfare and just really pretty on-screen moments for him to turn into the prince. But I think my super dump is just that approach. I know
Yeah.
that that's a big part
No,
of
I'm
the
with
story.
you. I'm with you.
But dude, I think she was already digging you before you were a prince.
Pretty obviously as well.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
just I think if the only reason we can say that he lied so much, maybe we chalk that up a majority to just adolescence and not
Right.
knowing better.
Yeah.
That's not as interesting to me.
I am
I
not a
think to
fan
me-
of petty misunderstandings.
Yeah.
I think he became the prince though because the last time that he saw Jasmine as Aladdin, she revealed herself to be the princess. He was already in custody, and then she couldn't do anything to help him,
Right.
right? And so in his mind, is he thinking, well, she didn't help me because I'm just a street rat. She'll never love me because I'm just a street rat.
No, that's not how I interpreted it, at
Okay.
least. I just interpreted it as
I think too, if she's removed herself from that, she removed herself from that environment to be here
Yeah.
because that's really what she wants.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what? Yeah, he missed something somewhere. But again, it's not like, I don't know, are we going to guess he's like 18 or 19, 20?
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like 18, 19, 20-year-old Carter would make a silly mistake like that too and be hard on himself about
it's
it.
not
But-
my super dump, but I do agree with you that it's
yeah, it is my super dump too.
Yeah.
And Disney movies, much like when we went through Lord of the Rings and things like that, like it's not the easiest thing to find a super dump.
right.
But this did make the overall plot just a little bit more shallow to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
think I'd
agree.
agree with
And
that.
so that's
Kind
why
of
it's
manufactured
yeah,
conflict.
that's
rather
why
than
it's my
rooted in
super dump.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it sort of, I've never thought about it like this, but it sort of puts a whole new world into a weird light for me. Because that whole song takes place while she still thinks that he's somebody he's not.
No, she can tell because remember they're in China and she's like, "Did a boo come with you?" And then he starts talking
I don't
about
think she
Boo
figured it out until the end of that time.
until he flipped the apple to her in Greece
Hmm.
because he did that same move that he did in the market.
Well, he did say, "Do you trust me?" Right before they got on the carpet.
See, I think at that moment she was like, "This is Aladdin."
Well, but I think my issue still derives from like he is still thinking that he is pulling a fast one.
Yeah,
Don't get me
Knowing-
wrong, it's still a killer song. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Knowing
like,
that love for an individual can manifest quickly in movies, very quickly in Disney movies. In terms
especially
of
when they're
prince and
singing to each
princess,
other.
especially when they're singing to each other. When do you think Jasmine fell in love with Aladdin? Because if she fell in love with him before she realized that means she was just like loving everybody.
Yeah,
So do you think it was in the market? Because it could happen.
I
Like,
do, yeah.
Disney believes in a first sight kind of thing.
I
Sometimes.
think that she fell in love with him about the same time that he fell in
gotcha,
love
and
with
then
her.
kind of picked up on it at a
Uh-huh.
certain point.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think you could make an argument that he solidified it when he made a big deal about wanting her to make her own choice.
Mhm.
And then when she reconciled the fact that Prince Ali and Aladdin were the same person, then it was like, oh, there it is. But yeah, I think it happened in the market at the
I
beginning.
think it did too.
yeah,
and
I
that
think
makes me
so.
feel better about it.
But so something I want to talk about is after they get back from their carpet ride, things really just sort of pick up. And
Yeah.
that's my super dump is Act 3 of this movie is so fast.
It is really fast.
This has the thing, and I think this is something that manifests itself a lot more in pre-Pixar days.
Yeah.
But it has weird animated movie pacing. You know what I mean? Where it's like we got to get the kids in with all these songs, and then bam, all this stuff happens so fast at the end. But it's
Yep.
you know what I mean? It's kind of just weird to watch.
I mean, he gets sent away to the snow and then just comes back and it's the final fight. I mean, that
Yeah.
is the third act.
yeah,
The third act
I
is
love the scene in the snow though when he looks up and has to jump through the window of the tower.
That was really cool.
Always
I
my
thought that was
entire
really
life
cool.
thought that's the coolest thing in the world.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very what's his name? Buster Keaton let the
Yeah.
building fall
Yeah.
on him with the
yeah,
window.
yeah. Wow.
But
deep pull.
deep, you know,
pull.
me and my Buster knowledge. But
Yeah.
Big time Keaton
Hey,
head.
brother.
one other thing I don't love about this movie is I don't love that Aladdin goes back on his promise at first to the genie.
Yeah, and again, sometimes
seems out
we
of
have to be
character.
given that like there has to be a little bit of a time to make for realism's sake to like not like the protagonist.
Sure,
But for that
absolutely.
one,
It
it
just
was
feels out
just
of
like,
character.
wait, dude, he's really done. It does feel out of character.
Yeah.
And we get the payoff in the end, but
Yes, we do.
I can see maybe I can't see how this movie would have been made without him having to be the prince and have all that fanfare. I can see it work without him going back on his
Right,
word.
I agree with that.
Is that just an illustration, though? I mean, just to play Aladdin's advocate right now, is that an illustration of like we're watching him when he's allowing himself to be controlled by his selfishness and going, Aladdin, don't do this. Aladdin, don't
Right.
do this. We don't like this. Aladdin, this isn't you. You're getting swept up in your own
Yeah.
kind of reality that you're painting. I don't know. Is
Yeah,
that like,
I
are we
definitely-
supposed to feel the way that we do?
I definitely think it is, and that makes a lot more sense to me in
yeah.
a movie where it's a learned selflessness that we want him to find,
Yep.
Yeah.
rather than a selfless person who just ends up being selfish for a little bit and sort of makes that stuff feel out of character.
But is it a learned selflessness? Because part of what we're talking about too is his character growth at the beginning when he's talking to Jasmine at his house. He's saying like, if I could just live in that palace, things would be awesome. If I could just be royalty, things would be awesome. And then he gets it and realizes, well, no, this doesn't hold any water. This is shallow.
Sure, yeah.
Like this turns me into a selfish person. Like, is that the learned selflessness that we see?
Maybe because there has to be something in there that was kind of a crux for, like when he finds out that he's going to be Sultan, then he doesn't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Is it because of the responsibility?
I
of
think
Sultan?
he feels like he didn't earn the sultanness.
Sultanity.
You think he was maybe just blind, Jennifer Connelly, Jasmine blind to the fact that I don't just get her, I rule the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think by that point he was going, I don't think it's like Aladdin's lazy and doesn't want to rule. I think it's more along the lines of like,
This is
I didn't actually earn
because he
this.
was about to tell Jasmine the truth at that like coronation
but
thing.
I feel like for me, maybe that this still is not a story of learned selflessness so much as it is learning the uselessness of selfishness.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a good
Because I
distinction.
don't think he goes from selfish to selfless. And I don't think he necessarily even goes from selfless to selfless. Like he's selfish in the middle.
That's good.
And I think he's a selfless person who thought that being rich would be awesome, becomes quote unquote rich. And then in that selfishness goes, wait, there's no satisfaction to be found.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think the journey is necessarily from point A to point B so much as point A to B back to A again.
Gotcha.
Feels like the journey.
Is he kind of a, and I don't, it's only because we talked about Vigo recently. Is he kind of a Aragorn?
I don't think so.
I would map it more like this is not a hero's journey story, but I would map it more similarly to like the hero's journey. The essence of that story is a man hears a call from the
Okay,
gods,
that's
leaves
good.
his homeland, does a feat, like think of the feats of Hercules or something. He does
Right.
a feat, and because of that, receives a boon from the gods, whether that's a new sword, armor, a new type of knowledge, and then he returns to his home changed and changes his personal world
Yeah.
in accordance with the boon from the gods.
I
And
think it's more
Aragorn
like
knew
a
that
guy
was-
is at home and really wants Burger King, goes to Burger King, gets the Burger King, goes, I should not have come to Burger King, and then drives back home again.
And with his new knowledge, will no longer want Burger King.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I like the king analogy.
The burger's
That's great.
journey.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
burger's
And you're right.
journey.
I mean, Aragorn knew
The
that was his
Sesame Road.
that was his destiny. That it wasn't like someone just
Yeah.
revealed that to him. He knew
Sure.
it was coming the whole time and semi avoided it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Wow, we're educated, aren't we? We know things.
we are smart college boys.
I'm just trying to piggyback off of something I only listened to just now. I wasn't like a part of it. I was just like, oh wow, we're great.
We're all intelligent.
Don't forget how all three of us are so good at this.
All three of us contribute so much all the time.
Oh,
So we
man.
get our final confrontation with Jafar.
Fun fight scene though. Fun like transformation.
That snake is terrifying.
Snake is also CG in terms
Yes.
of
and how
CG.
quickly it's moving, snapping at him and
Yep.
stuff too made me uncomfortable.
Don't-
Don't you have a? Are you a bigger spider?
I don't care about
fear
snakes at all.
than
It's
snakes?
all spiders.
It's spiders for me too.
Snakes don't bother me at all.
Were you snakes, Doge? Why was I thinking
I don't
one of us
love
was
snakes.
snakes?
Adam's
It's
anti-snake
mostly
boy.
Adam. Snake boy.
Oh, yeah. That wore me out.
If a snake came into this room right now, I would just be like, hey, let's get that snake out of here.
Yeah.
Pick up
If
that
somebody
scary
said they
worm.
thought they saw a big spider in here at some point, I would be like, we're out of this room right now.
What was the wish that Jafar got to be able to be so powerful? Not
the
I
most
want to be the
powerful,
most powerful
sorcerer.
sorcerer in the world.
okay. So,
So-
that's why he could do all these things,
Right.
Yeah.
Because his only real trick that he had up his sleeve before was like potion magic. So like
Potion magic and the
and hypnosis with his
yeah,
staff.
Yeah.
that was pretty much it. And then after that, he got like wizard type sorcerer magic.
crazy
Big,
stuff.
big dump for me. I don't think it's my super dump, but a big dump on his sudden romantic interest in Jasmine. Because
Right.
he was
It was all
only
political though.
not at this point. He's the Sultan already.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's the most powerful person. There is no reason for him to continue chasing a romantic future.
He's
with
and he's
Jasmine.
he's
Yeah.
kind of Princess Leia gold bikini'd her too. It's like
Yes.
Yeah.
she gets in the wrong
There's a little
hands
bit
and
of
it
that.
becomes
love that.
Yeah, and I was like, well, yeah, I don't know really how I feel about it, but anyways,
Yeah.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
not supposed to love that, but even
But that
then,
did
it's like,
stick out as weird to me. It's like, that's not even in character. Like his character changes. And maybe it's just because Iago's not sitting on his shoulder now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Iago's not telling him what to do anymore. And so he's just going off the last thing
further
Iago
confirmation.
said. Yeah.
Spicy.
Iago, Jafar makes a great boat, but Iago's the captain, I think.
I think
Exactly.
it's Captain Iago.
But Captain Iago gets taken down by Abu, our hero.
He does. Man, love that.
Yeah.
I wish I had a big old fight scene between the two of them. Honestly,
Like Airborne, like Legend of the Guardians style of thing.
Yes.
Not Legend of the Guardians.
Or
Guardians of
Elsa
Gahul.
or
Guardians of
even
Gahul.
like what's the little boy's Jack? When Jack fights the raccoon in Incredibles 2,
Yes.
like that kind of thing,
Right,
like
yeah.
on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
Like this is not the big part of the story, but yeah, that would have been fun.
That would have been a ton of fun. But we finally get... See, okay, so here's my thing with this kind of stuff. In all the time that it took Jafar to be like, what? No, I'm coming. Like, Aladdin just could have rubbed the lamp really quickly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm taking that back.
Like, it didn't...
Do you want to give a big pump on how they've drawn Genie while he serves Jafar? Like with his
Furrowed brow.
furrowed
and-
brow, like exposed cheekbones. Like it looks like Genie, but he looks so sad the whole time.
Yeah, I
and
think
it's just
it's
sad
great.
to watch.
I
Yeah.
think it's great.
And I love the way that Jafar is defeated.
Yes.
Well, Jafar's genie is also pretty cool animation.
Yeah.
Like he becomes at this point one of the most intimidating villains of Disney classics.
Big old
It's like
spooky genie. Yeah.
if he wasn't attached to that lamp, he's unstoppable.
He's a spooky
That's
boy.
why he's that broad boy. But
Yeah.
that's crazy.
But he's all red. He's all red too. He's evil genie.
Evil genie.
But I love Aladdin's whole like unlimited power, tiny living
Yeah.
space. Like it's such a good punctuation too.
Well, and you know what? That line even like there's so much stuff structurally that happened because of something Robin Williams randomly said in recording.
yeah,
Like the tiny living space was an improv ad lib
Phenomenal
thing.
cosmic power, itty bitty living space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's funny that
Wow.
that's the tag when the ultimate evil is defeated.
yeah,
And it's everything to do with Robin Williams. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
This
Well, let's
movie
not
really-
discredit Steve from Full House. I mean, he
I
really
mean,
brought the heat.
Steve brought it. I mean, this was the what launched his illustrious career. All uphill from here.
It really does feel though that this movie was retrofitted around Robin Williams' performance though. That they were like, here's kind of what we think is going to happen. Let's get Robin in to record his lines and then
Let's see
really
where Rob
see what
goes.
he comes up with.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, when you've got somebody like that,
Which is fair.
Why
That's how
wouldn't
I
you?
think every movie should treat Robin Williams ever.
fair enough.
Yes.
But we sort of get the fastest wrap up of all time
It's quick.
here at the end. It's really quick, but I
It's quick.
love the freeing of Genie.
Yes, I do too. And this fast wrap up is going to make me really attentive to the ends of some of these other movies.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I didn't feel this before, but could it just be that I'm older now? It's not like I haven't watched this in the last 10 years, but
Right.
I
I
don't
wonder
know.
if it's going to be a similar experience for me. I remember in college, I was so excited whenever they put the Spider-Man cartoon that I used to watch when I was a kid, when they put it on Hulu. It was the first time ever available on streaming, so I was super excited to watch it. And I watched one episode and couldn't continue because it was so fast-paced. And
Oh,
it was
wow.
like, I could not, like
Keep
just
up.
couldn't watch it. As a kid, I never even noticed that. I was just happy to see Spider-Man swing around and punch people and stuff. I actually never threw a punch in that cartoon because of weird cartoon censorship laws. Anyway,
No
I was just
way.
excited to see Spider-Man do Spider-Man stuff, but then coming at it as an adult, it's like, wow, this is hard to watch.
Yeah.
I kind of got that sense with the fast wrap up here.
Yeah. And it does wrap up really quick. And the freeing of Genie is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was almost my super pump, actually.
Yeah, it
But I
really
love
is
that.
so good. And it's such a, man, because of the genie as a character was used so much as in terms of like an homage to Robin Williams. But that's still, I remember when Chelsea called me and broke it to me as if I had lost a family member.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and you guys to an extent grew up in the 90s for quite a while too, but like
Yeah.
Robin Williams was on a feverish pace and a lot of it was formative to
Yeah.
what I was attracted to in humor, what I wanted to be comedically, what I wanted to watch, all these kinds of things. He just felt like he came along in my childhood. And yeah, that was such a heartbreaker when like Chelsea told me about that. And I remember where I was standing. Isn't that kind of weird
Yeah.
when things like
Yeah.
that happen?
Yeah. Me too.
But yeah, Genie is used for that a lot. And yeah, that was just so tough, but just incredibly phenomenal. And I love that he's wearing the I have that hat and I didn't even remember that he wears it. Yeah. I got that at one of the many times we've been to Disney World, but they had so many pitches. Did you notice too that when when they were like, "What are you going to do next?" And it's supposed to be a reference to
I'm
the
going
Super
to Disney
Bowl,
World.
and it starts playing the Disney World music.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I thought that was great, but excellent ending.
Genie.
And what does he say? Made you look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also from Good Morning Vietnam, and so that was a pull from that too. But I loved it.
I'm surprised there was not a Good Morning Agrabah.
Yeah.
Like right.
that
There
feels
probably
like-
was in that other 14 and a half hours.
Dude, it
of,
feels like that should have been at the parade.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of the parade.
He has,
Prince
so
Ali.
he has one of, I'm pretty sure it's him in King of Thieves. We need to double check that. I'm pretty sure it's him, but Genie has one of my favorite Disney animated lines in any of the movies in that one. And I'm pretty sure it's him, but he's interviewing himself in front of the castle, like in front of the palace.
Mhm.
And he's dressed up as Thor, like as in the god Thor. He goes, "What's your name? Tell me where you're from." He goes, "I'm Thor." "You're Thor?" And he goes, "Well, it hurts." And I just remember as a kid, like laughing so much at that scene. And it's so good. And
That's excellent.
it's very much in the same vein of a lot of this kind of stuff.
Golly.
Yeah, King of Thieves is actually very good. And I have seen it more than this one.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I don't know that I've seen it.
He finds the hand of King Midas. It turns everything that touches to gold. And he goes to find his dad. It's pretty good.
Okay, here's a question for you, which leads into my super dump. How do I watch that? Is that able to stream anywhere?
Yes. All of them except this one are.
And there's my super dump. The super dump has nothing to do with the movie itself, but all about the availability of the movie.
Yep.
The movie is not available to rent or own digitally.
Anywhere.
Disney pulled it off at the beginning of March to make way for the 2019 Aladdin movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which seems the opposite of what I would think.
I think it's they're using the fact that people are going to want to rewatch this one to plug Disney Plus when that launches.
Oh, yeah.
Because confirmation that the vault is going to be gone. I think that's Disney giving people an intentional consequence. Like, hey, look how much it's going to hurt if you don't have our streaming service.
Yeah.
Formal on-air apology to Chunkies. Unless you have this on VHS or DVD or have
Or Blu-ray. The Diamond Edition Blu-ray came out in like February,
or
I
young
think.
nephew or
And
niece.
it's gone already?
Yeah.
It was out for a month?
They put it out and pulled it.
Dude, on that villain spectrum, Disney is brilliant
Disney's in the
and
center.
brutal.
Yeah.
They kind of destroy. But while it's maybe a smart move and has been for a long time, I think they too realize we don't really have to do this anymore.
In a streaming era, the vault makes no sense. The
No.
vault
Yeah.
is cruelty.
Yep.
In a streaming era, I'd argue the vault cripples more than it helps.
Exactly.
I'm just not going to give away all the other movies we're doing, but this was the only one of the only ones that was in the vault right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we moved on. But
And it wasn't in the vault when we originally came up with this list, which is
Yeah.
frustrating.
I know, which is so crazy.
Thanks, Diz.
Yeah, it's annoying. But if you own it, or if you just have a memory, you probably know about it.
Yep.
Right? You can follow along.
Is it time to rate this movie?
Let's do
I
it.
think so.
Well, genies and magic aside, let's shift those over real quick. Let's welcome back science to the table. Hey, science, thanks
The
for
real
joining us.
magic.
The real magic of
Science is real life magic.
We used science, and we did a scale, the scientific cinema scale, and
Yay.
it's this. The best thing we can ever say about a movie is own it, don't lend it, buy
Buy that poster.
Gosh, the next best thing, it's going to be buy it. After that, it's rent it. Followed by stream it. Then forget it. And last, but certainly least, the worst thing we can ever say about a movie. God
has forsaken us.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
While this was one of my favorite movies as a kid, I think I have to look at my entire career as an alive person and how I view this movie. It's a buy it. It's a buy it for me.
Yeah.
Very much so because of its influence on a lot of stuff that would happen after. Robin Williams' performance, just how iconic that was. The music was excellent. And I just loved it. I think I've seen it maybe over 50 times. I loved it as a kid. And I think despite my super dump, it's still so enjoyable to watch, which is a theme of Disney a lot, especially in this 12 years. But yeah, it's a buy it.
Fair enough.
I think I'd also give this movie a buy it.
Yeah.
It's very fun, very enjoyable.
Yeah, I think I give this like a high rent it for me. It is, even as a kid, this was not one of my favorites of the animated Disney classic kind of movies. I do love it a lot. Love Robin Williams, but for me, this falls short of some of the magic that I love in some of the other movies.
Like consistent magic is what I would even say too.
Yeah, and you know it's all subjective. I know that for some people,
Right.
Aladdin is the most magical and the peak of that kind of thing. But yeah, for me, it's a high rent it.
Yeah. Excellent.
As we continue our Disney Dozen series next week, we will be watching the fifth place movie, which is, of course, Hercules. I am
very excited about
excited.
this one. I have watched this movie in the last 2 months. In this calendar year, I have watched Hercules.
I love this movie. Can't wait to
very
watch
pumped.
and talk about this movie.
Not in the vault.
Not
for
in the
now,
vault.
for
So go
now.
check it out.
So
Yeah.
stream it. Watch along with us.
And honestly, I think when we announce the next movies, we should consistently thank you. I mean, you picked it.
Yeah,
So,
you picked it.
Yeah, thanks for letting us watch this.
You
thanks for the
chose
ride
good
so
stuff.
far. Aladdin and Hercules, not too bad. And to think that there's 4 that you guys chose ahead of this. Hey,
Oh, my goodness.
this is going to be fun though.
There's a lot of good stuff here.
Fun connection. Danny DeVito was going to be Iago.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until a
Interesting.
handful of years later that they gave him another role, which great.
Another
Yeah,
fun
that's
connection. The carpet
Uh-huh.
was mocapped by Michael Bolton, who does
No way.
Go the Distance for the credits of Hercules. So yeah, he's
spoilers for next week.
very flowy.
Here's the thing.
He's very
anytime,
flowy.
anytime in this movie that
Oh,
you
that's
see
perfect.
fire, it's the top of Hades' head.
Yeah.
And you didn't even know that. That's
Yeah.
a thing not a lot of people tell you. It's
Did you know
hidden
that the
Hades.
Rugrats babies were dead the whole time, guys?
What?
Wait, where did that come from?
I thought we were just doing like fun animated conspiracies.
Oh, wait, that's a conspiracy?
Have you not heard
Is
this?
that a real thing people believe?
Yeah, that Angelica is like has PTSD and has like imagined all of these babies for like
Why?
getting past grief.
That's the most morbid thing I've
people
ever heard.
imagine
Straight
that.
tripping.
What?
Whoa.
You know what people like to do. You know how people are weird.
They like to trip, dude.
They like to trip, and they're tripping right now. Honestly.
Big time tripping.
the
what?
thing.
It's like tie
So-
your shoes, guys.
To close out this episode, what I want to do is I want us each to come up with our own fake Disney conspiracy. For 2 Chunks and a Hunk, I'm Jordan Wonders, and Ariel's got legs under there.
Oh man,
Blows
that
the
changes
lid off of
things.
all of
Just a-
this.
it's just a sewn together sleeping bag.
Big
and
time.
She got legs.
I'm Doge, and you heard it here first. One of the Mickeys at Disney World is Walt's frozen head on a new body, and he's just walking around training how to be a
That is
human.
actually horrific, and I
Oh, nasty.
hate it. That gave me like weird feelings.
the Mickey uprising is coming. Hide your cheese.
And I'm Carter. And it's funny because much like Iago actually being the villain in Aladdin, in Pocahontas, Cricky is the main antagonist.
It's crazy because he's
Those
not in that
Crickies
movie.
from Mulan.
Bro. But I'm telling you,
goes
he's there. He's there. That's why it's so juicy.
He's in every movie. He's the hidden Cricky. It doesn't rhyme with Mickey for no reason.
right?
Is he? Is he Jiminy?
Yep.
Jiminy Mickett.
I have to go.